everyone.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. You guys were muted this time.
There were extras in case anyone needed one. Do you need a agenda? Good.
I don't mind, I mean, I looked at it, but
If you wanted extra.
this will get started. All right. On the meeting order, introductions, Catherine, want to start? Oh, sorry, sorry. What's up? Oh, sorry, Jackie Jones. It's early.
Deanna Ballpark, Vice Chair.
Clint Bowman, traffic safety member.
Don't start with me.
Tina Schiff, Chair.
Spencer Pollock, Canby Public Works.
Tom O'Brien, member.
Jenny Driscoll, member.
Brianna Adata, I'm an associate planner, City of Canby. Oh, perfect timing.
Want to introduce yourself?
Okay, Chase Hensley, City Council President, the member of the commission, and sorry, I'm a little late. I'm not moving around very well today.
Did everybody get a chance to look over the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes of the September 10th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? It's passed. Citizen input. I received a email. You were in on that on Pacific Crest. So at Hope Village, Pacific Crest off of Burr Street.
Okay.
They are wondering if that is our land or if that is public on that little cul-de-sac there. Because they had some delivery drivers driving super fast in there, and they said, well, it's 25 miles an hour. We don't have a sign posted, or on the rest of our campus, it's 10 miles an hour. So if it's not city, then we can post signs, but if it is city, we can't, right?
I knew, I've got like, I'm 90% sure, but I don't want to be, I'm pretty sure it is private, but let me,
Yeah.
I'll double
okay.
check and email you this afternoon and
Perfect.
let you know one way or another.
Okay,
But I think that one,
I think it's ours too, but
I believe it's.
Brianna, if you have a
private
way to look that up,
Because
It's Fur and what near Hope Village?
West Pacific Crest Drive.
that's my thinking that is a private road, just because
oddball name.
very odd name.
It's not a very Canby name, it's not a tree.
Yeah.
It's no foliage.
Yeah,
involved.
we do have signage, so, but we just, before we go put signs up, we
Yep.
wanna make sure
I want to
we're
make sure that's,
not
Yeah.
putting signs on city.
I'm pretty sure all of that.
your new signs would be 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, our campus is a 10 mile an hour.
It is private.
It is private?
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
So that's yours.
Okay, check.
Right.
Look at that, citizen input, we got it fixed.
now the president of our residents association, we have.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, old business. So the old business was, that Jen Gorski had reached out again about the digital reporting on speeds. We did provide that to her, seemed like that, she was happy to have
Yep.
that. Of course, you know, didn't solve the problem, but she could see where we had been there longer than what she thought. She had seen the traffic patrol there, but only, she thought it was a very short amount of
Yeah.
time, and it was actually monitored longer than that, so that was good. I don't know if anybody has heard anything back from Mark.
Actually, I didn't interrupt him.
Yeah,
No, that's, in that segment, Spencer was gonna update us on digital speed signs cost.
I unfortunately do not have the answer for you, but, yeah, I don't have an update on that one.
Okay, it's working.
It is still working. The gentleman who was supposed to be working on it for me is actually out sick. So I was calling his phone frantically this morning and he wasn't answering, so I called around and they said that he called in sick, so.
is that
Oh, well, sorry.
Is that something where it's just a company that we would get the information? I mean, that, you know, somebody else could do a little bit of searching on, or is that something?
It
that-
depends on the accounts, and I think he's talking with a couple of different vendors, trying to find a sign that is similar to ours that we currently have,
Oh, okay,
so.
okay, didn't know if there was some help. that somebody else could do.
Unfortunately, when it comes to those kind of signs, it's not just you know, run down to the local hardware store kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely a specific manufacturer, and they don't like to. And for whatever reason, Candy is very good about buying things where the offices are over on the East Coast.
Oh, great.
So there's that time.
Okay.
So you're pretty happy with your vendor and everything?
I don't work with the vendor, so I am, but he's happy with it, so.
Then, Tina, if I can interrupt, we had some citizens that arrived.
Yes,
Did you guys have input you wanted to give, or just watching over our meeting?
I can't get it to open in my Sure, that'll work. We just want to express some concerns about. I just can't get it to open in my phone. Thank you. Yeah, or right there.
They have an outline as well. We have an agenda.
Okay.
And normally when citizens like yourself come under item 4, usually introduce yourself and tell us what your concern is. And we
Okay,
listen to the concern, we're really not in a position to provide a solution at that time.
right.
But based on your information, usually we'll like to allow you up to like 5 minutes or so. And then we'll discuss it and then, you know, usually add it to the next agenda if it's something that needs more attention.
Sure.
And then you're welcome after you give your pitch to stick around and with the meeting, but you're not required to move on.
Okay.
That sounds good.
No, we locked the door, you can't.
Must stay.
What are your names and where do you live?
Dan and Cindy Hyder, it's just spelled H-A-I-D-E-R. And we live at 470,
Can you repeat that last name also?
sure, Hyder, H as in Henry, A-I-D as in David, E-R.
Okay.
Address is 470 South Sequoia Parkway. Right on the corner of Township and Sequoia. Those of you who know what we're talking about.
Okay, then you go ahead and tell us about your concern. That'd be great.
Well,
So there's a new project that we thought possibly wasn't going to be built, but apparently is being built now. It's a spec building, which I found interesting, where it was initially approved for a big Amazon warehouse, which Amazon's no longer going to be going in there, but they've got a developer and they're building a great big 718,000 square foot concrete building, and they've started construction just this last week. So one of our concerns, of course, about the whole project in general is just the impact, especially on Township, on that little strip between Sequoia and Malino. That's gonna be their main entrance into their parking and out, and I think it said on the paperwork we got recently that the truck entrance is supposed to be off Malino, but
well,
it's not at this
yeah,
point
they wanna have,
for the
from what I
construction
understand,
purpose.
it's gonna be a way to
To
go
pull
all the way,
through.
all it would be, before they weren't gonna have it in the line of access, but now they are, so.
Yeah, so anyway, we live, of course, right across the street from that, because Zion's here, BBC Steel, we're here, and the project's here. So, there's a couple of other neighbors there as well, so we expressed concern when they were building it, that, you know, how are we going to, I think they were talking about like 2 or 3 shifts of 300 and some people, like how is it going to accommodate that much traffic? It's a 4-way stop, there's no, you know, stoplight, the road is 2 lanes, but right now, the concern is the big concrete trucks.
Yeah, they got them.
They're doing some, yeah,
Right outside of
they
our
line
house,
up in
right.
the turn lane. Of course, they're back from the intersection slightly. I actually talked to the police officer yesterday because I was like, what is going on here? But you know, they have like, I don't know if you've seen them, but there's like there's an extra trailer attached to these trucks. But they'll be clear down in front of our driveway, you
Both of
know.
our driveways, like,
Because we have
if you
two.
look at that thing, they'll be queued up from
Oh yeah, you got the property right
the
there.
corner and then all the way back. We have 2 driveways, one in front of the shop and then one in front of the
That's
house.
the corner of, yeah.
Yeah,
And
you got-
they'll-
Township, so.
I'm gonna have pictures of them, but they,
Well, so
They
they
just
just,
sit out
they
there and
line
idle
up, they'll
for like
sit
an
there
hour.
for 40, there you go, that's the view, that's our house over on the side here. So this turn lane right here, they'll sit there and park for 45 minutes, sometimes half an hour, waiting for a truck to leave the site so they can pull in and do their job and then other trucks come. So they're just, I mean, stacking them up there, waiting to, I didn't look this morning to see, but they also start construction kind of early in the morning and they go further late at night, which I thought was, I think they're running 12-hour shifts or something. We're just concerned about the traffic, like, you can't see very well, you know, that intersection is, living there, we can tell you, there's a lot of people that don't stop at the stop signs and speed through there and go at high rates of speed, and these trucks are sitting there. Just think that there's a lot of potential for,
That is one.
but also once it's done, it's gonna be a huge, I mean, how is that intersection gonna handle that amount of traffic?
Have you attended the meetings and things? for
Oh, of course,
construction?
yeah, every one of them, even when I was on vacation, I was on Zoom calls trying to put my 2 cents in, so.
We talked to them and they said, the developer, okay, they said there was traffic safety studies
They could do
done,
studies
and
done.
I go,
But this,
really?
you know, we're not in the city limits, we are, rural Clackamas County. Because years ago, and you guys might know some of the history, but, in that area, it was the 80s, I think there's an industrial park like overlay over what was farmland. So the majority of the people who own the land, I guess, decided to become part of that, but there's about 12 acres in the middle and we're part of that, we're just a small part, because there's about 4 other people that are not, so we're like an island in the middle of it all. So they're, you know, built, you know, Columbia and then Stanley Furniture, was it Caruso, whatever it's Caruso, whatever it's called.
So,
Then they added the other Dragon Fruit building, you know, they just keep building up, and now they're gonna have this enormous
we
building.
didn't even know this was, I mean, when we bought our house, they were
Yeah, we
actually
didn't,
farming over there,
We
we
thought it
had
was just
no idea
farmland,
there was gonna be an industrial park, and then
well, I mean, that's one thing, we can't, apparently the city was fine, they approved it, even though every person almost on that committee was concerns about traffic, which we brought up over and over, and they still went ahead and approved it, so that's, I guess, on their committee there, they thought it was a good thing.
So the biggest thing you'd really ultimately like to campaign for is a light or something at that.
Well, I think there probably should be a light, and I think, at this point, we need to, I mean, I don't know if I'm out of line suggesting maybe they shouldn't be allowed to park there for half an hour, 45
I
minutes and
think
block
their
that turn
trucks
lane.
on their property, not in front of our
Well, I don't
house.
think these guys have anything to do with that.
Anyway,
Just the concern about how it's impacting the
Yeah,
intersection now, and down the road, I think a light is gonna be absolutely necessary.
yeah, it's gonna need something there because the other thing is, it's a main thoroughfare for the fire trucks to go
To
through.
Maleno. All the trucks
From the
come
fire
down.
station, and with
Yeah.
having that their main entrance right there at the corner is gonna be quite a.
I don't think we can change any of that, these guys
No,
aren't here to do
no,
that.
they're not gonna change that, but it needs to have some sort of a.
We're just concerned, there's gonna be a lot of traffic issues in that corner.
Are they queuing up anywhere other than on Sequoia,
Nope.
south of Township? It's all in that one area right now?
Just down that
So
area,
far,
and when I
so-
talked to the local police, I left a couple other messages too. He said, well, there really isn't anywhere for them to go besides that road, and I said, well, can't they go around the other way, you know, well, we can't go through 13th and they can't come out of Township, because of the railroad trestle. So what about Malaya? Well, there's no turn lane for them to park in apparently, so that's off the table. I'm like, so if this is the way they have to
Is there
come.
a turn lane on the bridge side of?
There is, but they'd have to come down, you know, 13th and all that, they don't want trucks over there. They prefer them to sit on the Township, so,
That is the truck route, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming and sharing your concerns and,
Oh, we appreciate you.
Well, just any thoughts you guys have about it, or?
I'm just kind of curious, since you were involved in the history before it got approved, do you happen to know, did, the approval, did they say that they were gonna have to route all of the truck traffic on the Walnut Street extension, that road that they're supposed to be building kind of between Jarros and, 99, that's
Well,
what got through?
The most recent copy of the paperwork, I thought you were reading through that, I thought it said they were going to take the trucks that way. Off of, Malaya. And maybe when the project's done, it's due to be finished slowly December of next year, just for the record.
Yeah,
So they're in a big rush to get it done. But I believe that was the case, I mean, initially, you know, we went around in circles with them, you know, about how the truck traffic was gonna go. They were actually gonna have the main truck entrance just right around the corner from our property. Like, you know, I don't know how far, how much intersection you have to leave, but it was gonna come right there, there's gonna be like a guard station, and we're gonna have this 24 hours a day, trucks are gonna be going in and out. And I'm like, how's that gonna work? And then a little further down, there's gonna be another driveway of township that went to the parking lot for all the employees, so. But it was all gonna be on the township side, which I thought it would have been much better off from a line side. but-
So the final approval was for it all to be there on the township side? That's-
Well, I'm not 100% sure, because it was approved, and
Except
then they had,
for one additional truck access off of Milano. That
Just
was the-
more recent.
That was a more recent
But,
addition to it.
yeah, for the longest time, they've, they had approval, they didn't use it in time, they went back to the city, they modified their plans, got another approval, and now apparently they've got some sort of third approval, because it's not even the same
Yeah,
owner
no,
now.
no.
Amazon's out of the picture, it's a completely different, yeah, go ahead,
Question for
Shannon.
Brianna.
Tom?
Just to clarify for my personal needs, because multiple people were speaking at the same time. The immediate concern, as I understand it, is the backup of
The concrete trucks.
ready mix trucks
Mhm.
in that term.
Right, yes, that's the initial concern.
Yeah.
And probably in the next year, the other concern will be the impact on that intersection from, possible employees, assuming they actually do lease it out, which at this point they have no tenants, so who knows?
Brianna, is there a final approval for what that's going to look like since they're kind of in the development and construction phases?
There is, if we can get your contact info, I'd be happy to send it over. If you want to give me a minute, I could probably pull up a site plan as well.
Thank you. And she can confirm 100% where the entrance is.
Oh,
We're in the final
Is
approval.
it if I email her your contact info?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I'll email you their contact info.
Perfect, thank you.
We've gotten a couple things from, we just pulled up something on, I think, one of the Candy websites on Facebook. They posted something on the latest project, but when we talked to them, they said, yeah, I guess they got approval and started construction the next day after, they resold it and then started construction the next day.
Thanks a bunch for coming.
Yeah,
We're
well,
welcome to stay, but we understand if you.
thank you.
Tina,
Probably should have talked to you guys when this was all in development before, but we went to the meetings thinking they would be concerned about traffic and they didn't, I don't think have as many concerns about it as maybe this committee would have, so we appreciate you at least looking at it.
And just
Yeah.
as things develop in that area in the future, the planning commission meetings are where you really want to show up and say something.
Okay, we have actually in the
Because
past.
that's the best place to represent yourself ahead, because once it gets approved, then it's
Right.
kind of set in stone and there's not, we can only kind of try and fix it after the fact.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I went to every meeting, either via Zoom or in person, the last meeting at the fire department, so I hosted on Candy now at that point, and they had a full room, but the first couple was. So,
Yeah, I'll link you one on there.
sure, you can put mine down, it's CS. As in CS, hired, JIDER. R 97013, Candy's the code.
Madam Chair. My
Nice to meet
question
you.
was for Brianna was similar to hers, so if I could, before they go. Brianna, this is a speculative project, we don't know who the tenants are going to be, will there be another traffic study when we find out how that will fill out?
There will be, yeah, according to the uses that are proposed, there will be more additional traffic studies.
Thank you.
And that's written into the approval, so that has to happen.
Well, the other part is that,
I
we're a little
couldn't get it
concerned they're gonna come back, decide to widen the road on our side and take a bunch of our property, but hopefully that won't happen. We would prefer that to not happen, I made that very clear before.
Thanks a bunch for
Great,
coming.
yes, thank you guys, appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
That's one
Yeah.
thing. Spencer, I don't want to be out of turn or anything.
No, go for it.
But like when we're out and about and we see creative digital sign that's exciting, like in Amazon or Aurora or anything. Do you all use the same vendors or do you think they use different ones or?
There's multiple vendors.
So would they be off base by reaching out to some of those other communities and see what ones they use, just so you have another option to consider?
So we currently, for our signs, I think we're going through 3 different vendors. So it's not like I just set up with
Okay, I
one.
see.
And I know that talking with those vendors, they kind of compete for different
Okay.
business with the other cities as well. So
Okay.
if they have a better tracking of theirs, then, but no, by all means, if there's a specific sign that you see that you,
Yeah, if you all see one like that you think's really creative, let the group know, because there's some creative stuff out there.
Cool, so you're not locked into just that
No.
select provider list, you
No.
can go up.
If you don't wanna sign, it says good job.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'd love to see a sign that said good job, if people are actually doing a good job, I love the positive
It's like
reinforcement.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
What he is locked into is the requirements for a specific grade of signage.
Correct.
State rules.
It's,
All
it's
right.
not every sign company is able to do it.
Yes.
Okay, so, Mark's place at Talkie Farms, that I don't think we've heard anything whether or not he's went to the HOA or.
Yeah, he needs to do that, and then we also need to kind of see how the completion of the South Ivy project, that should give them some relief too, but he's supposed.
I would think that that one would, and I know that for the marketplace specifically, that once a lot of that gets built out and done, and then there's not the construction, traffic flow would be a little bit more normal than, I mean, if they're building houses on one block, then most people are gonna try to skirt around and go to. So I think once everything gets built out, then everything will just kind of.
What's the current estimated completion date?
They're working on building out phase 4 right now. I think that they were hoping to be done with that one in the spring, so start building the houses next spring. In phase 4, phase 3, I was out there last week and maybe a third of the lots were at least getting built on for that one.
For Ivy itself,
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking for March.
That's almost done.
yeah, so that.
Ivy is, yeah,
Yeah, so we expect it to be totally wrapped up.
Is that the last phase?
for March Place,
Yeah.
yes, there's
For
4
our
phases
space,
there.
4 phases,
Yes.
you're done.
They still have a large open lot, it's not under development, or will be.
Correct, that particular landowner does not want to annex it or develop or anything, so that one will remain.
Can I ask what's
At
going
least for
on now that they're digging holes in Ivy, South Ivy?
So they did not raise all of the sewer, or actually, those ones were the storm manholes. And then there were 2 water cans valves that were paved over. So they're doing a circle cut and bringing those up
I
to
saw
grade.
the circle, because I figured they were raising them.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good height.
Yes, so the advantage of doing it that way is that you can actually set the grade of the manhole to a perfect existing, yeah. Otherwise, it's just kind of a space out there and you try to hit it.
You try to hit it.
Yes. So,
All right, so new business, 99E and the South End Road.
Can I chime in on that one? Spencer, you know how, as you're coming into Candy which you're dropping down the hill and it goes to 45. Did that used to be 55 posted and then the city requested it be changed?
Years ago.
Yeah.
did we
Everybody full building
Yeah.
on
It's fine,
99,
put out there.
and it seems like you drop down and you get 45 and pretty much stay at that level.
It changed to 45 since I moved here.
The reason I bring that up is if you Google what the speed limit is at 99 South End Road, and Google tells you it's 55 miles an hour. And it seems, as you drive through that way, whether you're heading toward the city or coming back toward Canby, 45 feels about right. And if you think about this, at 55 miles an hour under ideal dry conditions, it takes a vehicle 300 feet or the length of a football field, 100 yards to stop. Under wet conditions, it can take up to twice that distance. And if the speed limit was dropped to 45, it takes about 200 feet to stop on dry pavement. And of course, considerably more if it's wet. And it just seems to me that, in my opinion, I think there definitely ought to be a stoplight at that intersection. But at the very least, I think a study should be done if it's necessary to lower the speed through there to 45 miles an hour. I gotta believe that that's gonna greatly improve the numbers, because the closing rate, when you're sitting at that and you're wanting to go out and people are whizzing by, and as we all know, a good many people don't abide by the speed limit, so, I mean, many of them probably going over 55.
I think that's a brilliant idea, because
do
if we
too.
just extended 45 a little bit, so that you didn't get to speed up like right on the hill, like what is that failed intersection over by the farmland right before you go into the.
New Era.
New Era, so we have issues with New Era being a failed intersection that we can't do anything about.
Yeah, that should
And then people need to
merge.
merge,
Yeah.
merge when it's a little bit slower, get through South End and then go 55, makes so much more sense than being able to speed up going into an intersection
And I had
like
an
that.
idea, and we don't wanna overstep. Do I have the group's permission to reach out to police and fire for their input on requesting that we lower to 45 and see if we can get their blessing?
Can we do it if it's county or ODOT?
It's out of the city limits.
Yeah.
So we would probably need to go through the BCC, but ultimately it's ODOT's decision.
But out of
Right, but we can
respect for the
advocate
police
for
and
it.
fire, we
Yeah.
should reach out to them, don't you think? Because they're the ones that are having to go to calls on those intersections and.
Correct, I don't think that, a recommendation from either one of the chiefs would hurt anything.
Okay, I'll seek that out if that's all right with the group.
I just don't know if there's anything that the city can do short of.
I can advocate at the county commission.
Yeah, that,
And we could talk to Oregon City, they would probably be in support of it too.
I can't imagine anybody be against that, they'd be nuts.
Sorry, my voice is never very loud, so. Also, I was gonna say later, I'm gonna be going to the Clackamas County Safety Audit Task Force as well, so if that comes up there, I'll bring that up.
That's great.
Yeah, and I'll organize some stuff to email you.
When's that meeting?
In a couple weeks.
Couple of additional thoughts. Before moving to Canby 6 years ago, I was living off of South End Road. And I was very active in Oregon City. I might suggest that this is a three-way concern. It's Clackamas County's concern, because that is a county road coming in at 99. It is an Oregon City concern because they also, from an emergency perspective, respond. We might want to be touching base with our counterparts in those two areas. Because if three of us approach ODOT, I think ODOT may pay a little bit more attention.
Does Oregon City have a pretty active traffic safety committee?
They have individuals there who are, and I have already had some discussions with a friend of mine there who serves at the county level. They all agree that I've talked to that it's a problem. The problem is compounded by the fact that traffic both northbound and southbound through that intersection is merging of two lanes of traffic into one, which is another consideration, because people are not paying attention to what's coming in from South End. They're paying attention to being cut off by someone trying to speed past them through the merge. So it's a combination of issues and problems that require more than just our heads.
Do you think attending one of their meetings would be more effective than reaching out to them?
I think we have to find out when they meet.
Yeah, how
and
we
so
can-
forth, and that sort of thing.
Okay, thanks for that.
You know, I traveled that route for 20 years, every time I come to Canby, because I didn't shop in Oregon City, I shopped in Canby. I went to church in Canby. It's one of the reasons I moved to Canby. But I did serve on the Chiefs Advisory Committee, which is both fire and police.
Okay,
So that's one committee that could potentially be approached. The neighborhood association that would be most impacted, because they're the closest on the south end of town, off of South End Road, is the Hazelburg Westling Farms Neighborhood Association. It's about 850 residents that live off of both sides of South End Road. you have school buses coming down from Oregon City. I was watching one the other day as I was going up to Milwaukee. Having a very, very difficult time getting out of South End Road because the traffic northbound was just nonstop.
Mhm.
And here's this route trying to keep on schedule with picking up students, trying to turn north on Highway 99 off of South End. Now, I was watching him there from the time I was at the top of the hill coming north, and he just couldn't get out.
Wow.
I almost felt like stopping, but the guy behind me was gonna ram me right in the butt.
But I think that makes a good argument for 45 being on both sides of the road and having it go beyond south end of it, so that the traffic that's northbound, when they have to go down to one lane,
The ideal
after
solution
they
is a light,
merge, then it's 45 for a bit before they come into the intersection area.
the ideal solution is a light.
Yes,
If you can't get that, lowering the speed limit southbound as you go into the merge to 45.
Mhm.
It doesn't hurt to have 45 all the way from
Yeah.
the top of the hill through that intersection. I mean, you're talking a mile and a quarter, maybe a mile and a half at the most.
Well, and you have South End Road, you have Numera Road, that's a
You
problem,
have a
maybe
lot
you
of-
just have a lot. I mean, you're narrowed down on both of those areas, whether you're going south or north, it just makes sense that,
And, you know,
I think that was a really good idea.
We'll pursue it.
there's a lot of traffic comes out of, not onto 99 and turns into 99 at the top of the hill. I don't remember the name of the road,
that's.
but there's nothing there.
I lived on
There's no
Numera and
traffic.
it's a dangerous intersection too, so.
And the funny thing is that territorial in 99 used to be, well, still is dangerous, but it used to be a lot more dangerous before the speed limit dropped to 45 or something. And there's a light there, didn't used to be a light there.
But that's why I'd argue it's important that going into the new era, or excuse me, not new era, the south end turn heading north, that you have to be going 45 before that turn. Because if people are forced to go a little bit slower, or at least supposed to be going a little bit slower, that could potentially hurt it.
And it seems like between every one of our meetings each month, there's always something going on there.
Well, and then if it can be patrolled a little bit more so that people know that, hey, they're enforcing this.
I don't think you're going to get enforcement.
No, my concern is, for the people who are trying to take a left-hand turn off of South End and onto 99 North, is in short order, we're going to have a lot more industrial activity here in Canby because the OLCC distribution center will be up and running. And, whatever ends up filling in for this project that's being built, that, our local citizens came to talk to us about. And even once Walnut is built, they all still have to go through there. And just the OLCC is gonna have like 300 trucks a day coming in and out. And not every single one of them will have to go north on 99, but the majority of them will probably take that out. And so that is a lot of increased large truck traffic. And so when they're coming in and out every day, New Era is gonna be that much more difficult. Or I say New Era, and it's not that it's gonna be that much more difficult. And New Era, but I'm mostly concerned about something in this context.
All right, the other one was the truck routes not being clearly marked. Is there,
It's that season.
do we just need to identify the areas that need better signage and,
I was hoping that Gary was gonna be around, because he is our
yeah.
expert.
Guru.
It's a passion project for his.
Yes.
All of our truck routes, I believe, unless something's changed recently, are marked to the standard. Now, if there's more that needs to be done for those, then I think that that's something that.
Is there any way that like there could be something like around those signs
Or taller.
that makes them stand out more? Because I feel like they just aren't seen.
Majority of drivers now do not go off of signs, they go off of their GPS.
So how do we remedy that if that's what they're
I've been trying
doing?
to figure that out for a while now.
Because it's, I mean, just right there at Ivy and 99
I
is-
watched it
It's just,
yesterday twice.
I'm
It's,
so
and it's
thankful.
marked,
Yeah,
it's there, and I think that a lot of it also becomes, you know, you could try to put a flashing light or a border around it or something. But then that's the only thing that catches your eye and nothing else does, so then everything needs lights and then everything's obstructed.
so just out of curiosity, can an officer pull over somebody that's not following the truck route that's endangering? Okay. It's a conversation with Chris.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're not paying attention. Even if you're going off GPS, you should still be looking at the signage.
Correct.
And,
Even if they look at it, I feel like they're getting ignored.
yeah, well, I
And I don't know if everyone here has heard my favorite, sign story.
don't know.
This was 12, 15 years ago now. There was a request from, a city employee to add additional truck signage on, North Elm Street. The employee's wife worked over in that industrial district over there, and she was always complaining to him that the trucks weren't seeing the signs, they didn't know it wasn't signed. And myself being maybe a little bit more of a smart aleck than I should have been at the time. Told him that, no, we're not putting up any more signs, everything else. Well, I did go put up the sign, I just didn't tell anybody I put up the sign. And for 3 months, he and his wife continued to complain that there was not signage.
Even though the sign was there.
The sign was there, and I went there and took a picture of myself standing next to the sign the day I put it up, and I showed it to him 3 months later
With this timestamp.
with the timestamp and everything, and so I had never had another request from him, but, no, so that is kind of, when signage needs to go up, I'm all for it, but the majority of the time, nobody pays attention to the signs anyway.
Now, hasn't Gary told us that truck drivers actually use a specific kind of truck driver GPS that's different
Some
than,
do,
but not all of them?
not all.
So the ones who are using kind of regular commuter GPS
Yep.
aren't gonna get the notices that truck driver GPS will be providing.
Because there's been multiples that, back when we were having a bunch of problems of them sneaking into that industrial area off of Baker. Where it's signed, no trucks on every corner,
Yeah.
all of them were still saying that their GPS was.
I get huge trucks down Southwest there all the time, especially with the traffic on that.
It's been a number of years in the sign business and traffic safety. Certain things assist in viewing signs. And the University of Michigan has done a lot of studies, particularly toward traffic signs. Believe it or not, stop signs are not the easiest to see. The most easily seen color is that yellowish green, and it's a sine curve from there. Red is at the very bottom of the sine curve. From a reflective signage standpoint, white is what is an engineering grade would be considered 100 candle power. They make other advanced materials that are 250 and 500. But to give you a comparison at that engineering level, white is 100 candle power, red is 20 candle power. If you look at the average truck out there today that has conspicuity striping on it, you will notice that the 12-inch section of red next to an 8-inch section of white, because of something known as overglare. When lights hit that white gets bigger and steals space off of the red. So there's a lot of things that go into signage. One of the things that can catch people's attention is the size. I don't recall where I saw it, but I saw it the other day on private property, and you couldn't miss it. It was a 4-foot wide stop sign. That caught my attention because it was so unusual. Even in signage for truck routes, sometimes just saying a local delivery sign up rather than a truck route sign. Is enough to trigger this thing to work?
Well, where you're talking about with the white, that's kind of where I was thinking is, you know, if you have something that's eye-catching when they're going.
So you mentioned that kind of neon yellowy green being the most notable.
Yes.
Are we
Color in
allowed-
there, correctly on your cover.
Okay,
So that color is reserved strictly for school zones.
okay, so we're not allowed to like change the color of the flag on the truck route signs to
No.
something brighter,
Those
Are we allowed to
those
put
are all
anything on the
specified by
post?
federal
like
regulations.
just to make it something different?
No.
Okay. Worth a shot.
We can't change traffic signs.
No.
We're locked in.
I didn't know what flags and
All we
posts had
can do is
flexibility.
we can evaluate what we've got, we can evaluate placement. We can put it in a more highly visible, we've got the same problem on our campus.
Yeah.
We've got people, I noticed last week, coming into the village off of South Ivy from the south. Who are turning into our exit. We have an exit and an entrance. They only see the first thing that comes to them coming from the south. So we're working on that to improve that.
So signage we cannot go larger with the signs, we're capped at the size we have.
Depends on your zone.
Yeah, I would have to go back through and read on if the verbiage says shall or may.
Maybe bring the traffic manual sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The one
You're
that,
gonna be amazed.
the one that I think of just right off the top of my head is the one right there at Ivy and Second. Right there behind the 7-Eleven.
These are taller.
If you're gonna go right and go down by
Bigger.
Chamber and Direct Link. I don't know. See, that doesn't seem very big to me. I feel like if that was a little
I
bigger.
believe that is 2x4.
And if it had
Yeah,
some
that's-
reflective something around it, it might be a little,
That's actually better than the crosstown.
You've got too much pollution there, right in the background.
Yes.
Who owns that big building with the green roof?
Directly.
They're really all about community. Do you think they could have, would be open to somebody painting a mural that says trucks that way?
that'd be
You
fantastic.
can look at that example right there. Which
Okay,
sign
so
is
why
more
not?
noticeable, the detour sign or the truck route sign?
Detour sign.
Church, it's orange.
Which that should be coming down.
Right,
Thank
That
God
doesn't-
that
that
project's
doesn't
almost
not-
done.
increase the visibility of the truck route sign.
Right.
And you have to give a truck adequate space or distance to be alerted to the fact that he has to turn.
I
Mhm.
believe we put 2 of those signs up.
Yeah, there's another
that
one before
yeah,
it.
there's another one back before it, so.
I mean, maybe we could even get Direct Link to hang a sign there.
No, they paint a mural in bright green that says trucks that way.
That might be a liability for them.
Yeah, it would, it'd be an insurance liability.
Yeah.
Well.
And they still probably wouldn't read it. I mean, Clarios has their trucking, their docks very well marked, and the trucks still go down the driveway to the office and then they get stuck. So it's a matter too of driver education, and that's not our job.
It would have to be a balloon mural. They could still just be a balloon picture.
But it'll still be liability. They're not gonna do that. At least
All
they
right,
should.
so we could maybe look into a little reflective or something or sign.
That's actually a newer sign.
It is,
That-
yeah.
That is the
Just
sign
in the
that
last
this
year or so.
committee, was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh my
I never crossed town.
Yes, yes, yeah, I think it was 2 years ago that we installed those signs, for this committee.
They were shorter and way worse.
All right,
I've got something for us on new business.
right,
Could we look at the good old intersection of South Branch and Southwest Third? So you guys know my neighbor Karen. She came within inches of getting smashed the other day. So right here, if we look to the left a little bit, and kind of work our way down, we have multiple trucks, trailers, cars, crack between that building where the Astrovan is and the corner. And if you'd kindly move down Grant a bit, we now have this lovely sidewalk, or not sidewalk, crosswalk between the ADA ramps. But as a vehicle, you can only get, staying behind the crosswalk, about to where that Ranger is. So you have to inch up into the crosswalk. And as you look to the left, you still can't see more than like 5 feet down because of that big truck that's parked there. I did a little bit of investigating, and if you look at past years of the Google Maps Street View, you can see the last time there was a date where it wasn't completely full of stuff was 2013. Now, there's a big gap in between there, but 2013 is the last time that was open. When I moved in 2017, all that stuff was already there. That was 8.5 years ago. And neighbors tell me it's been there longer. So we've made some improvements with the things that we've done on the street, but that visibility is still really bad. So there's a fire lane that goes almost all the way down to the next house, but it doesn't matter because you can't see around the truck. And on the right-hand side, which is where Karen lives on that corner, it's also marked no parking pretty decently down. But then where it opens up is kind of past her tree, so you can't see anything either. She's gonna move that Japanese maple in the corner back to increase the visibility. But what I wanted to do, and I can do this on my own, or I can do it with the backing and support of the group, which is why I'm bringing it up, is ask code enforcement to enforce the codes on abandoned stuff. Brianna's awesome, she provided the documentation of what our code is, and it is very clear that anything that's been abandoned for 15 days and a 12-month period can be forcibly removed. It's been there a decade.
So is that private land
It's
though?
private
It's
property
private.
though, so that's hard.
So, but it's still, it doesn't matter if it's private property, the code covers all of it. So we haven't had a business license for that building since 2017. So we don't, I don't know whose stuff it is, but, we've got code on code on code that says that it's unlawful to park, store, or leave any vehicles licensed or unlicensed of any kind for a period of time in excess of 15 days within 12 months. And it also says that you can't leave trailers in another section, anything that's wrecked, and you can declare a nuisance for anything beyond the 15-day limit as rubbish and unsightly debris and a nuisance detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the inhabitants of the city, which we have plenty of experience with. And that you also can't have it to move it and the same completely enclosed within a building where it will not be visible from a street or adjacent property. So basically it needs to like be not visible and not blocking stuff. So it doesn't matter if it's on the street or if it's on your property, if it's blocking stuff, it can go. So
Blocking stuff, I guess I can get on board with, but the seeing it, I don't know. What's the code number? I wanna read
it's
that.
code 1008. And it's just 1008-010.
Okay.
No,
I mean, the way I heard that, my neighbor's in violation when he
Yeah.
parks his trailer after the end of summer.
It is, and like you said, Candy's-
Nobody cares,
but
so.
Candy's complaint driven, right? So this has
Yeah.
been here for a decade, it's causing near accidents all the time. We have lots of kids walking up and down the street, people who come up to Grant and Third can't see either way. The one neighbor's being responsible and doing her part to move so that things are more visible. If we could get that crap out of the way, then you'd be able to see up and down the street. Because the other thing we do have an issue with that wasn't significant enough for us to be able to take any further action is lots of people speed down that street. And it's gotten significantly worse in the last like year or two since we did the construction on 99. Because everybody looked for an alternative route, and anybody who didn't already know got hip to the fact that you can get from Elm to Ivy cutting down Third, and that's the only place you can do that on the south side besides 13th.
Right.
So people use it a lot, and irresponsible people go fast. Cars on both sides, limited visibility, and through that intersection, it's especially dangerous. So that lack of visibility is something we could take action on.
Yeah.
I will be happy to make a complaint based, it could be on me or it could be with potentially the support of others. And that's why I wanted to bring it up was, how should I frame it to code enforcement? Can I say that it's something that we've discussed and the traffic safety committee supports, not just the neighbors, or should I just take it to them as an individual with the backing of the neighbor?
I think it's reasonable that we support it because it represents unsafe conditions for traffic, I mean, we're all about traffic safety.
Mhm.
And this is a traffic safety issue for pedestrians and drivers. And you've got the neighbor that, as you say, almost got hit.
And I've got plenty of other neighbors who have
And
almost gotten hit
so-
through the years too, that's not new, hers was just the most
Well, it
recent.
seemed reasonable that we're concerned as a group for the traffic safety.
Okay.
A motion, a second, and a vote.
Okay, I would move that we, well, actually, you should make the motion.
Okay, I would like to move that code enforcement is contacted about the abandoned materials, vehicles and others at the corner of South Grant and Southwest Third with a request to use our available code to remedy the situation.
I'll second
All in favor?
it.
Opposed? Okay,
Okay, cool.
perfect.
I will take care of that and I'll keep you abreast.
Okay. All right, okay, so Chris isn't here, so,
Spencer.
I guess that's me.
Spencer, you're up.
Let's see. Big report, I think, is what, next week, the Knightsbridge is going to be open.
Woo!
Okay.
I am so excited to hear that state on schedule. I was
And
fully
it's-
prepared to
well,
hear that.
So the closure is scheduled to finish.
Mhm.
Talking with the project engineer, manager for Clackamas County, they are thinking that there might be a couple of days that they will have to flag to finish up some of the work, but the road itself will be open.
That's 4 winters.
So-
Yay,
October the
that's
15th.
great.
October the 15th is
Will
when.
they allow us to have a party down there for the park?
I think
No, because the
they-
November 30th date that's flying around the internet is for the park.
Do you know about the
So,
paving projects?
South Ivy, they completed the paving, they have a couple of punch list items, but I know that the contractor is, excited to be done. As well as I think everybody else, if I had to guess, I would say that they are probably going to be finishing up the last of everything by the end of the month, but for the most part, well, that is determined on if we get another good batch of weather, they get the striping done, that's gonna be the big one.
Then how about your,
North 10th,
Yeah.
North 10th, they are hoping to do asphalt the week of the 20th. To try to get at least an asphalt road again instead of a gravel dust bowl. And then sidewalks after that, so they're looking probably mid-November-ish to
Okay.
be done with that project.
Super, cool.
Those sidewalks aren't done,
Okay.
Walnut Street, we are waiting on an IGA with the county.
and the ID is what?
The road is through Clackamas County. And they won't let the city just build our own road through their jurisdiction without an IGA, so.
So even though this has been planned for a long time, the IGA step comes in now just because.
It was
procedurally
that,
that's
it
the
was
thing.
that, or we take 6 months to try to annex before we could.
So this was something we always expected we needed to go through, it's just languishing a little.
Mhm.
Okay, so what is tentatively the construction and completion date at this juncture?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I don't have
So
a
the IGA,
good updated,
realistically, just kind of like spitballing, if the IGA isn't approved here in October. They're not gonna, is there any work they can do through the winter months or it gets too muddy, so they have
no,
to
so
wait until spring?
we don't have any of the contracts, or we haven't gone out to bid with the contractor
At least
until
6 months
before.
away.
So we could potentially do the bidding and contracting process through the rainy months to be
Correct.
able to start something in
Correct.
the spring. And then, do we have a guesstimate about how long it'll take once they start work?
Depending on what time of year they start, it could take anywhere from 9 months to a year.
Okay, so the OLCC is gonna probably be open long before this road is done, so
I don't know
they're
about
gonna-
long before, but
months before, so all the trucks
Possibly.
are going to have to go through either on New Era or on Sequoia,
Sequoia.
because they're not gonna have any other options. They shouldn't use New Era, but they will.
But they do.
And then Sequoia. Okay. That stinks. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised, but that is.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that all of these big industrial buildings are being approved and open before that road went through.
I tried to link them together for what it's worth for the ones I've been involved in, which
We're
is,
not having our power.
and you're not allowed. You can't say no because the road isn't
I
there.
thought that was the big deal, was the power situation, they weren't gonna let things happen.
There is still a big,
So they're gonna build a building that they're not gonna be able to
The
build.
buildings that are approved to build have power,
yes.
But that's kind of the catch.
but now we have
Trying to figure it out
the
beyond that.
potential moratorium on until we figure out the power.
Which our power is interesting because we are a public utility, you know, we get our power from Bonneville, but it's all PG lines. So,
Brianna, do you have anything exciting to share with us?
Excuse me. The one thing I will mention is the Cambry Christian Church parking lot expansion. Went to Planning Commission in September and it's been continued. Some folks on the Planning Commission want to see what we call an alternatives analysis. So they're asking for some design exceptions and they have to prove that those design exceptions are kind of like the minimum necessary for them to get, you know, similar rights as other folks, other parking lots. So that is going back to Planning Commission October 27th. I have not seen revised materials. We gave them until Friday to get them to me. So hoping to see some good updates on there. Otherwise, I don't know if we want to talk about street maintenance fee committee. They had another meeting. I think it went well. Tracy and Jackie were also there. So if they want to add anything, feel free, but I thought it went well. There's some positive movement happening. A lot of good data was collected by one of our finance folks, Ruth. So yeah, that's moving along as well. Other than that, obviously Sequoia Logistics, some folks are renewing interest in that, we could say. That's Ryan's project, but we've all kind of been briefed on it, and I can definitely send out materials to the folks who came in or anyone else who wants to see them. And Ryan will be back in office next week. He's in Greece. Very jealous, but yeah.
what's the big story of Sequoia Logistics? Like what, where and what is that?
So that was the property that the members of the public were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It has several names, so I don't blame you there. But yeah, that's probably the biggest one we're hearing about right now. And it did go through quite a long process. I think the initial approval was in 2021. It expired, they came back, it's been modified. So I understand the confusion and concern, but yeah, as someone asked before, if a use comes in that doesn't fit kind of the spec traffic study that they did, we're going to require another one. Other than that, I think that's it.
So somebody had said to me, and I don't know if this would be have to go through you guys, but somebody had told me that the Motel 6 has changed from being a motel to being like a apartment rental. Have you heard anything about that?
Wow.
I have not heard anything about that, and I would be surprised if that were the case.
Okay.
I can double check on that. It most likely would come through us, or at least we would hear about it. So I'm not sure about that, but I can double check.
Okay.
I think the angle to check, Brianna, is what I've heard is not that it's straight up a landlord renter situation, but rather that the county provides some folks with vouchers to stay on a basis.
So like a monthly, or a weekly situation. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can look at
That's the scuttle that I heard about it.
Yeah, if it's that kind of situation, I do think that kind of still falls under the use of a motel. You may be staying there a week, whether you're in a certain situation or whether you're just visiting us for a week. But yeah, if it's longer than a month, we would want to definitely know about that. So.
And then if I could just ask you, the citizens that were here earlier today, is their property considered commercial or residential?
It's industrial. Well, it's not in the city, but if they were to annex, the zoning would be industrial.
It'd be kind of grandfathered in residential, but it would be industrial.
So the one positive from the negatives is that their property's probably worth considerably more as industrial than the way it is now.
Probably, yes. The industrial park was created in the 80s. And so, you know, we're never gonna force someone to change their zoning, move away or anything like that, but that is kind of what we're seeing now, the remnants that didn't elect to, you know, sell, rezone, et cetera. They're kind of facing that build out that's happening now. But yeah, potentially if they ever wanted to sell, it would be industrial land and they would see those industrial land prices, if they did want it to sell, so.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what about Ivy and 13th, that property there by Pudding River and across from? Is anything moved on that, or what's going on with that one?
That is the memory care project. I deemed their application incomplete because some of their plans didn't exactly match up. So I want them to be consistent. So I deemed that incomplete late last month, and technically they have 120 days to come back. I'm assuming it won't take that long, but last time it was kind of a long process. They have a new consultant, so I'm also hoping that that will facilitate the project moving a little faster. But they do still intend to move forward with the process. They just need to get me some more information. And when I'm able to deem them complete, which will be the next step, that's when we send out notice. So Hope Village will be getting notice. Everyone in the vicinity will be getting notice, and it'll be posted in the newspaper and on the bulletin board in the library.
So is that next step? So once you get that step, if you deem it complete, does that mean it does move forward?
Yes. Yep. After we deem something complete, it goes into the public comment stage. We send out notice. There's a 21-day period where folks can submit their comments. Then I have 2 weeks-ish to write a staff report. Then it goes to Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's lots of steps to talk.
And thank you for sending the Sequoia Logistics site plan out to us. I'm really curious where those entrances are. It was
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one other thing, documentation. You mentioned something about there being a copy of traffic guidelines. Is that going to be specific to the state, to the county, to the city, all of the above? Is there like an actual
For,
document of the rules?
yes, you write it down.
Okay.
MUTCD, Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. It is a book about this big.
I won't print it out.
I would not say it.
2 frames of paper,
And
You're gonna study that
Five
till the-
trees.
till the next week.
well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to know where those documents are, because sometimes when something interesting comes up, you can just do a control F find and look for certain terms and kind of see what kinds of things might apply.
Yeah.
And just as a quick overview, if you're just like, I want to know this, then you can just find it and maybe not ask the questions, or maybe find something
You
interesting.
can't necessarily do that with this book,
No.
because it's sections.
And it's by attorneys.
I just don't like that, but I'm not saying it's high on my priority list, I was just curious. So the MUTCP, and that is D, I'm sorry, my handwriting
Devices.
sucks.
Devices.
Devices.
Traffic control device.
Okay, cool, and that is a national,
Yes.
cool.
We're still trying to, or Congress, I think, is still trying to update it from the 2011 edition.
I was just kind of curious because
Right now,
when
right
you're,
now.
this is a very brief tangent, but when you go on 43 over where that new roundabout is to 25, that is some of the worst signage that I've ever seen in my entire
Is that the one in
life.
Westland?
It's so yes, it's so confusing, and it's like you have all these trucks, you have people who are trying to get on a major road, it's like, who thought any of this was okay? But it would have to be agreeing to these national guidelines?
Yep.
I've been through almost every state in this country, and everybody's slightly different. And some are better than others, so you want to counties to love Oregon deeply, but our side is really great for that overall. So, okay, thank you so much.
And don't you, what is in there is also in the international, particularly in Europe.
Interesting.
Tracy?
Okay, don't know how much I have to add, to what Brianna said. I will talk to the street maintenance fee, where we're at with that is, they have done a lot of research onto what businesses were paying what and trying to figure out if all the formulas are working right. But they needed a new manual. They're working off of 7th edition, I think it is. So we just approved for them to get the 12th edition. That's how far behind they are. So then they can actually do the actual accurate calculations, and then they'll move forward with recommendation on what the fee should move to, bring it to council. So that's what that is right now. They are actively working on it. The only other thing I have is we have a second reading at the next meeting to approve the extension of Randy's contract for the interim city administrator. Awesome. These things are going well, so we're gonna keep it going forward, so. So he'll be extended till the end of the fiscal year with an option to keep him on longer if we need to. At the time, we'll reevaluate in the spring,
When does your fiscal year end? Is it-
June 30.
Okay, cool.
And I'll just say, if you want to talk about huge manuals, the ITE is 4 or 5 volumes about that big. And then there's a whole book that's just the index you use to find what you
Yeah.
It is
We're
a lot. Yeah.
5 editions behind though, so we thought we'd better update that.
So
It's very interesting to nerds, at least.
yeah, I was gonna say, I wanna, make your own line of work, because that's totally up my wheelhouse.
It's interesting.
Tracy, but the street maintenance fee, right now it's pretty low. I mean, it's like $6.
It's $5 a month,
Okay.
unless
so-
you're a business, and then it's like your.
So are we looking at a potential major shift, or is all of this going to end up being like a $3 change?
I would suggest being prepared for a recommendation of a big jump,
Okay, and is big 15 or big 50?
15.
Okay.
Somewhere between 10 and 15 is what I expect them to come in on.
Okay,
And just for the record, everybody already knows, so.
okay, well, for what it's worth, I couldn't care less. If I need to pay an extra $10 for the roads done this stuff, I will happily do that. I know everybody feels differently about little taxes and stuff, but to me, it's like, okay, so it's a coffee and a half, or a coffee. If you need non-milk milk, I'm cool.
No, it's a campaign promise is why I'm voting no, because I, for 14 years, have told the people that I will never vote for a tax increase unless it goes to a vote of the people. And to me, this
Can
is a
we-
tax.
Can we bring it to people?
We can, yeah, we totally have that within our power, but I don't have the votes to support that, so I'll probably be the only no vote on it, but that's okay.
Can I ask you a question too? Now, when you were talking about the interim city manager and re-upping him, is that to the end of the calendar year or?
The fiscal year, till June 30. And it's not a hard stop there, it's a conversation, we'll see where we're at, if we're gonna go out for permanent or keep him on for a little longer, we don't know yet. We have some things to work through that he's doing a good job getting through, so we'll just let him continue to do his good work.
Cool.
Great. Deanna?
I heard of a complaint at North Holly and 10th, the stop sign. Someone actually ran the stop sign because they didn't see it. Because of the tree on the property, and so I'm wondering.
Probably a nice. Holly and 10th, I was gonna say, the one, that tree on Holly and 9th is a continual problem too, so it's probably not that.
So,
Okay.
I'm not sure, I know in the subdivision that I live in, 2 neighbors had to take out arborvitae for the city. They had letters, so I'm like, is there something gonna be done at that Holly and 10th?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I spoke with code enforcement about that a week and a half ago, because I got a similar complaint from a citizen saying that the sign was blocked. We have gone out and trimmed back those shrubs multiple times. And so at this point, if the homeowner doesn't, then I got code enforcement involved so that we have some authority to go into the shrubs if needed.
Oh, okay, just wanna make sure, cause yeah, it was just kind of a bad scenario, and it happened to be one of my mom's friends that ran it, so I was like, not good. And then, the other thing too is I sent Spencer the photo of the landscaper from Rockwood that parked on the sidewalk. He does it every week. So is that something that I need to tell code enforcement and have them come out and give the guy a ticket or something?
More than likely, that would be a police officer,
Okay,
cause I don't know if Chris Stan can write that ticket,
oh,
or if
okay,
that has to be a police
okay,
officer.
maybe I'll check with Chris then,
Mhm.
okay, okay.
Have you ever gone up to them and been like, hey, did you know you can't park here, you'll get a ticket? Just get, see if that scares me. Too, because sometimes
Yeah.
they would be available.
I can either do it now or wait till it's my turn to talk, but because of the situation at 10th North and Holly, I was going to bring it up in my report. I was going to ask everyone on the committee to turn west off of North Ivy, heading at the legal speed limit of 25 miles an hour westbound on Northwest 9th. And see if you can stop in time before you get clobbered by through traffic on Holly. Because I can't. The stop sign is so difficult to see until you're almost on the intersection of Holly.
At 9th and Holly.
And if you're going to be a block away trimming trees or 2 blocks away, you may want to address the two of them at the same time.
That's North and Holly,
Yeah,
or 10th, 9th or 10th?
Ninth, this is at 9th.
Yeah.
Northwest 9th.
I used to live across the street, it's been a
Between
problem
Ivy and
for
Holly.
years.
And we know traffic on Holly does.
Well, that's where a lot of those
Exactly the speed
accidents are on Holly that they were complaining to us about, is people speeding and they're
Yeah.
not.
the majority of the accidents were at 10th,
Mhm.
10th carries more traffic, but
So is it just the trees there in front of the house on the corner from 9th, that the trees are
I
overgrown?
turn off of Holly going northbound, or excuse me, off of Ivy going northbound, and going across Northwest 9th to go down to St. Patrick's. And I know to stop. But if someone is driving in that neighborhood at 25 mile an hour, which is the legal speed limit, there is absolutely no way. Cliff's shared with us what stopping distances are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see some pretty horrific accidents when I lived there.
Okay, Clint?
Oh, yes, and I'll make this brief. I'm gonna go ahead and, when I send out the minutes, I'm gonna attach my red light speed camera report. I'll slide through it. I looked at, a number of communities in the area that, have used red light and speed cameras. I'll just run through them. Woodburn has 2 of them. They were established in 2013. They use Redflex. And they have found that the red light running has gone down substantially, the speeding has gone down substantially, and crashes have gone down substantially. The way they monitor their ticketing is through their vendor, and then also the police department reviews it. They didn't have a specific number of officers that do it. Salem has 6 of them. They've had them since 2008. They use Redflex, and again, too, they have found that it's reduced red light running considerably, speeding considerably, and crashes. And they currently use 6 part-time auxiliary retired police officers to review the tickets before they go out. Sherwood has 2 of them. They've used them since 2010. They use Redflex. And they too have found that it's reduced red light running, speeding, and crashes. Initially, when they started up, they had 3.5 employees to manage, and then they monitor that based on the amount of activity. Tualatin has 2 of them. They've had them since 2010. They use Redflex as well, and they too have found red light running, speeding, and crashes have gone down considerably. And they use a vendor and 1 police officer for final review. Tigard has 3 of them. They've had them since 2020. They use a company called Conduit. And they have found also reduced red light running, speeding, and crashes. And they, again, work with a vendor and a final police officer for review. Beaverton has 6 of them and have had them since 2001. They use Conduit and also found that red light running, speeding, and crashes have substantially gone down. And the vendor and an unspecified number of police officers review them. And in Portland, was a little confusing, but it looks as though they had 17 of them. And they've had various ones since 1995, and they use a company Novo A Global. And it has substantially reduced red light running, speeding, and crashes. And the vendor and unspecified number of police officers review them. And one other added bonus to these cameras, I don't know if you remember this, a couple of years ago, I think husband and wife and their children were coming back from the coast, and some road rager was tracking them and pulled off into this rest area and actually shot the husband to death. And I think it was the cameras that actually were able to help them figure that things out because of the time element and then tracking forward. They identified it was a black BMW, and so these cameras it's incredible. So anyway, I'm gonna email that to you, and in respect of time, I won't take questions.
Save your questions for next month, right?
Yeah, Jennifer.
Actually, I been out of town for a chunk of time and I don't have anything other than the concern already raised. My little update, so the continuance that they had for the parking lot at the church, I was out of town and unable to attend for that one, so I don't have it. Thank you.
Becky?
All right. I went to the street committee task meeting around part of it, and like Tracy said, like, we finally, voted that they should have a new manual. It doesn't make sense to keep doing these formulas without the new, information, because you can't do this again without the good information and get an accurate idea of what the fee should be, especially for businesses in this town. So that's been a big conversation. And again, I'm on the Clackamas traffic, it's the Clackamas County Safe Systems Audit and Transportation Safety Planning Meeting.
That's a long title.
I know. So that second meeting is October the 21st, I believe it is, so next month I can give you an update. I'm not sure, it's kind of a follow-up from the last meeting, but I will do my best to bring up some of our concerns there, if it seems appropriate, they're right. Because the last time I went to the meeting, it was very, what do you call it? They had definitely topics they're talking about.
Very structured.
Very structured, thank you. And then the only other thing was, remember that car I've been talking about that's been for sale? They keep parking, they kept parking in front of my house for 2 weeks now, they've not been there, I don't know where they went. I think code enforcement might have got tired of my phone calls, maybe they understood don't park in front of this house again. So that's been nice. And then I'm guessing all the dump trucks is because of what's going at Sequoia Township, the Sequoia Data Center, is that? There's been a lot of dump trucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unusually an unusual amount, and it's very disruptive.
Yeah.
Or the building where
I'll have to go over there, and take a look, because I don't know what else would be going on, but
that's the only thing I could figure, because I thought all the housing was done.
The dump trucks were going, a couple of weeks ago when they were doing paving on Ivy. They were pulled going out because I got hold of Petro because I was going down 13th and somebody one of those trucks
Yeah.
was speeding, and then he just went ahead and went on through the stop sign
Yeah,
right
I
down
think
the street.
I think I watched that.
And so I took liberty and got a hold of Throw and said, hey, do you have any petroleum? And he sent
He
two cars
has,
out
they've been
there.
sitting at the church watching.
Yes, so they were sitting along there, right after that. When I came back from lunch, they were there. So, yeah.
Good job.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they've been, the air braking and speeding and the stop sign running, yeah, so thank you for taking care of that.
Yes.
And then the only other thing was I noticed, I don't know if you've seen it already, Spencer, old Camry rental, one of the candlesticks is destroyed, okay. I think that's all I have.
Okay. Oh.
I've already shared, so in the interest of time, it's your turn.
The only thing I'm still questioning is the school light, Lincoln school light. Are we gonna be able to move that soon?
we can, once the project closes out. Whatever reason, the county, they have weird things that they just will not bend on, and one of them is signs being mounted in the sidewalk. And so once the project is closed out, which should be, I believe, my first thing I'm doing as soon as we get completion is to move the sign
Yeah,
back
because
out.
that used to not see
No, you
it.
cannot.
Which
And there's
sign
no-
are you referring to?
It's the,
It's the
flashing
blinking
school zone.
school light if you're going towards
You're heading
13.
south on south.
And you're driving along there, and just when you get by Canby Signs, there's signs and graphics, there's that blinking light, but it's in the arborvitae that's really nasty looking.
Okay.
Oh,
See,
yeah, I
it
can't even
used
see
to
it.
be out here before they started the project, but the county required it to go behind the sidewalk, which is in the middle of our arborvitae.
Yeah.
And they won't let us put it back
That arborvitae.
until we have ownership of the road. So
Yeah.
until.
And you were talking about moving it further.
I'm done, I'm moving it right back to where it was, because I can't move it down and extend the school zone.
Oh, gotcha,
So
okay,
I looked into that too.
okay, well, thank you, they didn't
So,
But
see
the
it as that.
interesting thing is that the county did a magnificent job. A little bit further north of there on the fence,
Yes,
trimming it down around the branch of the tree. So that the tree branch would not have to be cut and can hang out over the sidewalk.
so the other question I have is on the, I texted you about cleanup of things on the roadways. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
so what is the protocol for something like that where you see glass all over or something hazardous on our roads?
our roads, if it is during normal business hours, just call the public works office, you'll get Maria, and
Okay.
she will either tell me or she'll just go straight to the guys more than likely, and just have them go out. If it is an after hours emergency, the after hours emergency contact phone number for Public Works.
Okay,
And then they can come.
yeah, so there was somebody had an accident on Redwood.
Oh, yeah, I told Jerry about that.
Between so I'm coming home and I'm turning left onto Redwood and that whole other lane going in the other direction is just full.
Full of
Between
glass.
the crosswalk and the railroad tracks was completely full, the handles were like a canopy sitting on the ground. So I went home, I don't have an industrial broom, knocked on the neighbor's door, they don't have one, I grabbed my home broom and I went out and I was sweeping that for a half an hour, sweeping that stuff up, and some guy finally came with a blower and helped me clean that off, and it was,
Yeah.
it was a mess.
It's
I mean, it was
still quite a bit along.
No,
the road there.
they yesterday.
They said
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So if I think up from an accident.
It must not have been a reported accident, is my
It might
thinking.
not have been, typically if there is an accident like that, depending on the severity and how big it is, sometimes police or fire will call us. A lot of times, if it's light enough, they'll kind of.
There was
I
another
think
one,
it
it had to have been a whole window, holy
Yeah,
cow.
it was
So-
totally on glass, yeah.
It may not have been an accident, it may have just been something fell off the back of the truck.
Well, it was definitely had a handle, like a canopy handle or something, and yeah, anyway, I was like,
No,
okay, so.
always feel free to call the Public Works.
I got a good workout, I was just like, this is gonna be cleaned up, and Clackamas County cop went right by me, it didn't even, like, I would have thought somebody would have like been like, hey, I gotta, you know.
Why is that lady sweeping the road?
No, and I think I've told this to everybody, but I have the worst one, I don't text very often.
Yeah.
But if I have my phone anywhere around me, I will always answer a call back.
Okay.
So don't worry about calling me at random times.
Okay, well, I was just like, I just was gonna get it done, anyway, I think that's all.
Can I call you Chief?
Yes,
He might
not Yeah.
answer at 3.
no, more than likely, I will answer it.
You don't know when to quit.
Yeah, I had to do that when there's been like on 13, the water's been like too high.
Mhm.
Something like a drain's been flooded,
Yeah,
And you can
or
also
the water
call.
thing was leaking. So I was just saying, yeah, I had to call, cause like, Hill Village, I think one time out there, whatever, it was like gushing into the road.
You can also just call the non-emergency lines, and then they'll direct it to whoever is like kind of on point to deal with it. Like I've seen like mattresses like smacking the road on 99, or like huge chunks of plastic or something blows off or is dangerous, and that's, it's usually if you're driving on a major road, I'm like, that's might be the county, and probably not the city, but I'm just gonna call Just let her know when the response is.
I guess we can adjourn the meeting at 9:54, adjourned.
Is there anybody I should copy on that email to Chris-Ann?
Thank you, Brianna.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, now that we're off.
What's that?
Yes.
How about that light at Township?
The city administrator.
P-A-L-Y.
Make sure this thing's actually-
Just so you